What's up, everybody? So we got a lot of lore to go over, and we're going to start with the drone sightings we saw last year, just in the late months of the year in New Jersey. And then we're going to go and circle all the way to why those are being seen and what happened at the Trump Tower on January 1st. All right, stick with me here because there's a lot to go over. And yeah, well, it is very interesting.
Serious drone sightings continue to come in from cities across the U.S., including several right here in and around Metro Atlanta. This is lawmakers push for more answers from the Biden administration about where they're coming from. Fox 5's Joy Dukes is live with us in studio. Joy, we've been seeing this all over social media. We've been flooded with videos here. What are you learning?
Yeah, Eric, that's exactly right. We have already received so many of these photos and videos from viewers similar to the ones you're seeing here right behind me, just showing these drones flying around in the sky, and they are saying the same thing, asking the same questions here. Well, despite federal officials saying there's no threat to the public safety, many residents say it is cause for concern.
Yeah, that's 100% a drone.
But flying objects like this one, captured by Metro Atlanta resident Britton Lockhart, have captivated the nation's curiosity in recent weeks. The objects, believed to be drones, have been spotted in cities across the U.S. since the week before Thanksgiving.
A lot of people are scared, don't really know what's going on.
Lockhart says the one he saw flying over his neighborhood in Cobb County on Friday didn't look like any drone he'd seen before.
What was really weird about them was that they were over 10 to 15 feet wide, flashing different colors from green to red to blue. U.S. national security officials say many of the reports have been cases of people misidentifying manned aircrafts like airplanes and helicopters. But police in Boston arrested two men Saturday night for flying a drone near Logan International Airport. The question Lockhart and many others, including lawmakers, want answered is who is flying them. My suspicion about it would be cybersecurity related.
The federal government and the Biden administration have said there is no threat to public safety.
We have no evidence at this time that the reported drone sightings pose a national security or a public safety threat or have a foreign nexus.
FBI Atlanta officials issued a statement to Fox 5 Sunday night saying, quote, the FBI, DHS, and our federal partners in close coordination with the New Jersey State Police continue to deploy personnel and technology to investigate the situation and confirm whether the reported drone flights are actually drones or are instead manned aircraft or otherwise inaccurate sightings. Now, a suburban New York airport was temporarily shut down on Friday evening for about an hour due to drone activity. FBI officials say sightings should be reported to local police who have jurisdiction on the ground in that area or the FAA. Now, Eric, you can just imagine how strange this is for people to see.
Okay. So they even shut down a whole airport over this shit. All right? So we all know about that. So there's one other thing, though. One other thing. Let's take it farther back. Let's go back in time a little bit. Who remembers the weather balloons? Specifically, the Chinese weather balloons. Right?
China's foreign ministry released a new statement today claiming that balloon that the U.S. suspects is conducting surveillance over the Midwest is just a weather balloon used for research. Beijing saying that the civilian airship deviated from its planned course because of what they're saying was wind. U.S. officials are continuing, though, to track this balloon, and ABC's M. Wynn brings us the latest.
China now taking ownership of the high-altitude balloon flying over sensitive northern U.S. airspace, referring to it as a civilian airship used for research, mainly meteorological purposes. Beijing saying it deviated far from its planned course because of winds, but U.S. officials tell ABC News the balloon appears to have steering capabilities. Images captured over Montana's skies show the balloon the U.S. suspects is conducting surveillance with a payload that's roughly the size of 3 buses.
They're doing this because they're trying to do surveillance on the land that they bought. That's also right next to like U.S. military bases.
Officials saying it's far above commercial airspace and poses no present military or physical threat to the people on the ground.
Balloon, it seems so brazen and just So insane to me that
a U.S. official confirming the balloon has gone over and will proceed over nuclear and missile facilities. Experts, though, saying Chinese satellites would be able to collect anything this balloon could, if not better.
All right, so she already said it for you. They're doing surveillance on where our military bases are, right? So that's period. That's what they're trying to do. Okay. They also bought land. I can probably find a video on that, but we're not going to cover it. We're gonna go circle back. Okay. Let's circle back. Okay. So what happened January 1st? We're gonna watch this decoy voice video because he covers it great. This is a perfect video for this.
On New Year's Day, a man drove a rented truck onto Bourbon Street in New Orleans, ending the lives of 15 before dying in a gunfight with the police right after, as an ISIS flag was found on the attacker's truck. Then, across the country at the Trump Hotel in
Coincidence? I think not.
Las Vegas, at 8 a.m., a man set off a huge explosion from a Tesla Cybertruck parked outside, as the driver inside dies, injuring others outside, but miraculously the windows of the hotel were not damaged. And now, in New York City, there are apparently marches on behalf of the Intifada.
Back it up. He said something that we got to remember, okay? Remember this part, okay? The truck blew up. Nothing was damaged. Nobody was hurt. Just Matthew died in the truck. But that's all. That's the only person that was the casualty.
Others outside, but miraculously the windows of the hotel were not damaged. And now, in New York City, there are apparently marches on behalf of the Intifada. As 2025 has already started off terribly, and the way the world is reacting makes me believe it's only going to get worse. Now, we'll break down the information we have so far, so hopefully you and your loved ones are prepared best as possible for what's to come. Because just like in 2024, the media again seemed to do their best to downplay the situation. As initially, people saw the ISIS flag, but they claimed this was not terror-related.
This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found, and we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
Then the news media in unison reported this was just a truck crash, but afterwards there just happened to be a shooting, until finally updating that story with the driver expressed desire to kill in driver rot carnage, which is sadly similar to what happened back in 2021. Where a piece of trash attacked a Christmas parade, but the news media rushed out to downplay it as a SUV randomly speeding into the street, seemingly exonerating the person that did it, but also not informing the public that they may still be in danger, as nobody would be concerned over a headline of a truck randomly crashing into Bourbon Street, but that basically buries the fact that there was a shootout and more devices were found inside the vehicle.
Also, a corresponding remote control discovered inside the vehicle. Now, this is also significant. According to the same intelligence bulletin, surveillance footage, Molly, captured 3 men and a woman placing one of multiple improvised explosive devices. So certainly more to this investigation.
As later, they raided the man's home all the way over in Texas. Now, the news media has been walking back and forth on whether he was working with others planting devices around the area, but I don't automatically think conspiracy cover-up, as the media reports many things that are blatantly untrue. I don't believe a truck randomly drove itself onto Bourbon Street, so why would I believe anything else they initially report? As I saw on social media first, the man's alleged identity, where Viva Frey had found and posted his 4-year-old YouTube videos that have all since been deleted. As Joe Biden announced, he did make social media posts just before the attack.
That mere hours before the attack, he posted videos on social media indicating that he was inspired by ISIS, expressing a desire to kill. The ISIS flag was found in his vehicle, which he rented to conduct this attack.
But quickly left taking no questions.
Have you spoken to President Trump? Will you visit New Orleans? Have you spoken to President Trump?
And again, it's hard to...
The door slamming is chilling. Look, I don't believe a fucking single thing Joe Biden says. I don't think anybody should believe a single thing any politician says at this point. They're trying to hide everything from us. Okay? It's obvious what's going on. Just pay attention, okay? I'm going to keep walking you through this. I promise you this is going to line up, okay?
To determine what's real and what's not, but I'm inclined to believe that YouTube video was actually him, as why else would the platform immediately take it down, as they do have a bizarre habit of immediately scrubbing all their social media. Now, I don't want to immortalize a guy as somebody interesting, but I think we should be able to see exactly as causing these people to do extreme things to hopefully stop it from inspiring other people from doing the same, as coincidentally, or not coincidentally, hours later across the country, the Trump Hotel was also attacked. And initially people didn't know if it was on purpose, but Elon quickly confirmed it was definitely an attack and not just a Cybertruck randomly malfunctioning, as they did find a large amount of fuel left behind. That apparently, the Cybertruck's build helped minimize the damage.
It looks like the exterior of that truck is completely intact as it sits there. The fact that this was a Cybertruck really limits.
The fact that it was a Cybertruck, okay? We all know that the Cybertruck is bulletproof. He's trying to send a message, okay? We all know that the Cybertruck is bulletproof, okay? So he used the safest possible vehicle to do this, which means he was not trying to hurt anyone.
Limited the damage that occurred inside of the valet because it had most of the blast go up through the truck and out. In fact, if you look on that video, you'll see that the front glass doors at the Trump Hotel were not even broken by that blast, which they were parked directly in front of. You can see that in the video there.
And as of right now, no information has been released about the driver of the vehicle that apparently detonated the device outside the Trump Hotel. But judging by the imagery, Elon Musk's Cybertruck, Donald Trump's hotel, weeks before his second inauguration, I 100% believe this was done to send some sort of message, but honestly it did the opposite, as likely the Cybertruck's sturdy construction protected everybody but the person carrying out the attack. But sadly this likely won't be the last, as we're not even finished with New Year's Day, and we've already seen 2 significant attacks in our country. So let's hope for the best, but still prepare for the worst, as with the initial reporting in New Orleans and Las Vegas's investigative track record, I honestly doubt we'll know exactly what went down with either event. So hopefully we can cover something more lighthearted in the next video, and make sure you're subscribed to stay on the inside.
Alright, you heard the man. Hit that subscribe button. And if you are watching this video and you don't know about Decoy Voice, go subscribe to Decoy Voice's channel. He covers news like this and is on top of things, and it's in the best, most streamlined, quality way that you could probably ingest here on YouTube. Great channel. Okay, so now we're going to go a little bit deeper. Who is Matt Livelsberger? Okay, well, we're not going to get into the background just yet, but we're going to talk about who he was and why he did the Trump Tower bombing. And this video here explains it. This is going to be the long haul. This is the long one. This is where we're going to sit here and we're going to walk through this video, okay?
Sam Shoemate, welcome to the show, man.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
I'm nervous about this one.
Yeah, me too.
I'm really nervous about this one. So yesterday I come into work and our stuff's been exploding because of the Sarah Adams, had Sarah Adams, Scott Mann, legend, did an interview with Masood kind of warning everybody about it's going to be a lot of terrorism here in 2025. Didn't take long. Jan 1, it hit. And, you know, it's interesting. We couldn't get any mainstream media's outlets to pay attention to those interviews. And nobody would really give Sarah a voice. Now everybody wants to give Sarah a voice because, oh, guess what? The fucking CIA targeter was actually right. Mainstream media gave her no attention. So that's been going crazy. I come in yesterday and for an interview, the first thing I do is talk to my producer, Jeremy, and he says that he's been in contact with you and that you had received some type of manifesto or email from the Green Beret that set off the car bomb at Trump Hotel in Las Vegas.
Right.
Jump in an interview and come out. My phone is blown up. apparently CID, Army CID, which is, how would you describe it? It's like it's
FBI light.
Yeah,
they are
it's
federal
like
agents, but yeah,
the Army's FBI.
Yeah.
I get all these messages from these people that say CID is talking to this person and that person, and one of these guys on the list is still operational, and they want his name redacted. And every Green Beret I know is texting me about this. It fucking really freaked me out, man. It was like, well, how did this leak? Who's tracking my fucking phone? All that kind of stuff. So I just want to say thank you for being here, because I was eavesdropping in on that conversation you had with Jeremy, and this is a big story, man. This is big.
Yeah, it is
real big, and so thank you for being here.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
But I do, before we get too heavy, I got some gifts for you. Here you go.
Excellent.
So we're talking about people monitoring the phone. Have you heard of the unplugged phone?
Yeah.
And for anybody that wants to purchase this phone, you can get it at unplugged.com/Sean Ryan.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Thanks.
Yeah, so the unplugged phone keeps big tech from monitoring your texts and your calls. There's a secure messaging app in there. There's a secure email. So get that thing wired up, and
absolutely,
let's talk on that from now on. So,
okay.
And then everybody gets a bag of these.
Been waiting for this.
Nice.
This is awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Very cool.
But all right, let's dive into it. This is going to be kind of tough. I didn't have, like I said, I was interviewing yesterday, so we're kind of winging it here.
Yeah.
But so before we jump in, I just want to say a couple things about today. And we're not necessarily validating what came in on that email. There's some pretty alarming stuff that came out in the email about the drones that we're seeing on the East Coast, and some capabilities that China has, some capabilities that we have, some activity that went on in Afghanistan in 2019, which actually we do have news reports that is valid. A lot of this stuff actually really lines up, but we can't give it 100% credibility.
Right.
I think you would agree with that as an intelligence analyst.
100%.
Yep.
And then additionally, there are a few names, two, I believe, that we are...
I'm going to say that too. We cannot validate that this is completely credible yet. But we're going to go into his background, and that is what will make this feel very convincing and very hard to feel like, you know... Well, let's just watch the video.
Redacting from this because they are still operational, and as much as I would love to release those names, we're not gonna do it so that those guys can remain undercover and not burn their entire operation of what they're into right now. And there was one more thing. I want to give a little background on you. Retired from the Army in 2023 as a CW2 intelligence officer and understand the information war. In 2020, you were still on active duty. You started a social media account where you intended to share memes and GIFs. Despite your intentions, the account grew into what it is today. You've developed, what is the account's name?
It's an Instagram account, goes by Terminal CWO.
Terminal CWO. You've developed a robust network of service members across the Department of Defense who trust you with their reports of unethical and, in some cases, illegal behavior from their leaders. You expose the unethical and illegal behavior while protecting whistleblowers in order to hold military leaders accountable, which is why you received the email from the Green Beret. And because of your background, you come across wild information all the time. You're here today because of an email you received from Matthew Livelsberger a couple of days before the Cybertruck bombing at Trump International Hotel in Las Vegas. You'll also be able to discuss what you know about the terrorists who conducted the New Orleans attack. Did I miss anything?
No, that sums it up. Yeah.
Perfect.
I'll give a background on why that's significant so your viewers understand how this came into my inbox.
Perfect. One other thing that I just wanted to say to the audience is, even though we are redacting these names from the episode, You pass that, I believe you passed that email on to the FBI.
Yes.
We're also going to pass it on to our contacts at the FBI. It's very obvious that people know it. Like I said, the CID has been telling everybody. In fact, we talked to Jeremy, who's sitting over there, my producer, me, him, and my attorney, Tim Parlatore. We're up till about 10:30 last night talking to the chief of staff?
The Army Chief of Staff PA.
The Army Chief of Staff's POA took a major interest in this as well. And, you know, one of the things that he said, I'll wait till later to bring that up, but I don't know, I don't trust any of these people. I mean, public affairs officers are there to...
I'll keep my mouth.
Create...
Yeah.
Create...
PAO is there to protect the command. Yeah, 100%, nothing else.
Yeah.
They're not there to shed transparency on anything. They are there to protect the command.
Let's recreate what the story is. But, and you know what's interesting? Fuck it, I'm just going to say it. You know what he said? He goes, on the call, he said, I didn't talk to him. I didn't want to talk to him. But so had them talk to him. He said, between me and you guys, this guy's DNA didn't match his son. And made it sound like it's some big secret. Then at 9:34 p.m., I think it was 9:34.
They will twist the narrative any way that they possibly can to make it, to delegitimize this man, okay? And his attempt to get a message out, okay? I'm just going to say that.
4 p.m. The New York Post had a headline that said that this guy's... So they're trying to make it sound like this guy did this because maybe he found out the son wasn't his. But there's a lot more to this story, as you'll find out. So,
yeah.
So let's go to you, Sam. Tell me how you got the email.
All right. So for context, I've run this account for the last 4.5 years. There have been people in and out writing articles and different stuff and just investigations, some big, some small, just trying to keep accountability in the military, but developed a robust network within the military, all branches, and people feed into this and send me messages and here and there. Nothing ever like this has ever come in. But well, it started off as comments. So when you have a big Instagram account, you're going to miss a lot of messages because people message, go to hidden messages and everything else. You miss a lot of stuff. Well, I kept seeing this comment on recent posts that I put in there, and it was from this burner account that said, hey, check your DMs, check your DMs, check your DMs. So I go in there and try to find it. There's no message from this guy, hadn't come through or whatever. And then he messages again once that message was opened up. And I said, hey, your previous messages haven't come through. What do you want to tell me? And he said, what I'm going to send you, now these are literally his words, what I'm going to send you is going to change the course of humanity. That was his phrase, change the course of humanity. Okay. A little bit dramatic. I get these messages all the time. People have this big story they want to tell. They want to expose their command, whatever. I take everything with a grain of salt until I have evidence and proof. So this guy is insistent. He tells me that he is a 18 Zulu who I've spoken to before, and he really needs to get this stuff to me. And then he talks about you. He says, I need you to get me in contact with Sean Ryan. I'm like, dude, I don't know Sean Ryan. I'm not that big, but he's insistent that I get him diverted to media sources, says go to Fox News, whatever else. And I said, all right, tell me what you got. So I give him my Proton email account, give him my signal number, and he reaches out immediately. And I'm going to read this initial message for you because doesn't have names or anything else on it, but this was his message on Sunday. He reached out and said, like I said, this last Sunday, he said, sending with a VPN active on Wi-Fi only. Do not message me. I will send out updates via both signal and email, but trust me, you're going to want to be involved. Well, first of all, no, I didn't want to be involved. Anyways, and then, so I didn't message. I responded back to his original Instagram message, and I said, hey, I got your message on Proton Mail, and he said, cool, delete this. So I deleted it. That's how I ended up getting this message on Tuesday. So the message that this right here, this manifesto, if you want to call it that, came in on Tuesday. And when I started reading this, My initial take was, okay, this is off the deep end. It's bonkers. I can't validate or verify any of the stuff in this manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
And I told him that in a subsequent email. And I'll read that to you later, my response to him. And once again, my response to him elicited, hey, get me in contact with Sean Ryan, Fox News, and he even said Pete Hegseth. Get me in contact with Hegseth. And I'm like, dude, I don't have the incoming Secretary of Defense's phone number. Sorry, bro. That's the last time I talked to him. So yesterday morning.
What date was that?
That was Tuesday. That was this Tuesday. So we're Friday now. That was 3 days ago.
So
the day before.
30th?
Yeah, the day before the attack. I dismissed this stuff out of hand.
The 31st. It was on the 31st.
Yes. In fact, I posted something on my... I told your producer about this as well. But this was a post I made on Twitter. I was just trying to be humorous, off the cuff. It was... I didn't mean anything about it. I was just being humorous for my audience. I said, my inbox was especially eventful today. Allegations of war crimes, government anti-gravity technology, and fears about being tracked and watched by the feds. It's always, the world is ending and I have this information that needs to get to the media, and never, how you doing, brother? Everything all right? I was just playing off of a meme.
Mm-hmm.
It was just supposed to be a joke. That was the body of his email that he sent me. And I didn't think anything about it. I didn't know who Matt Berg was, Matt Livelsberg, or anything else. He told me who he was in the email. He pointed me to his LinkedIn account. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I was just kind of being humorous with my audience. Like, I get these crazy messages sometime. And then the day after that message, I wake up and my buddy was like, hey, Sam, nobody in the community seems to know this guy. Do you happen to know who he is? And I played that for you before we came up here. Just absolute shock. That's how I woke up yesterday.
Do you want to play it now?
Yeah. Excuse my language. I was definitely in shock. Let me find this chat. So,
While you're digging through that, you know what we should do? I should get that Instagram account from you to see if they messaged any of our Instagram accounts. And we should also get that email address.
I deleted it.
You deleted it.
He told me to delete it, and I deleted it.
I'm willing to bet that he messaged everybody and nobody was listening. That is what we all should be doing. Every single one of us.
Okay.
Yeah.
We should also get that email address and see if they sent it in through the website, and see if he tried to contact us. Get that to the FBI.
So I'm in a military.
Hopefully they actually do something.
Yeah, I'm in a military group chat. Buddy Green Beret, Corey, he says, at Sam. Nobody I've asked in the community knows him. You is at 8:46 a.m. yesterday. So I woke up and I said, OF, I'm shaking. This guy emailed me 2 days ago. I'm not playing. And then he said, damn. And then this was my response to him at 8:48. Like, just woke up.
Dude, I'm fucking shaking, bro. You don't understand. This guy emailed me and told me he was being watched by the FBI and Homeland Security, but they weren't going to do anything to him because he had a VBID. I'm not fucking playing, dude. I have the email. I am shaking, man. This is nuts.
And it goes from there. And I sat there for probably an hour talking to my wife. I'm shaking. I can't even think straight. Like, normal day is shot. And I didn't know what I want to do. Do I sit on this? Do I do nothing with it? I've got to tell somebody. I've got to tell the FBI at least, because this is huge. This is all over the news. And then I was like, well, dude, this guy wanted to get in contact with Sean Ryan. So let me get this to Sean Ryan, see if I can get with him. And I had a buddy who knew the producer, and we went from there. But
wow. You want to read the email?
Yep. So this email came in on December 31st at 10:42 a.m.
Day before.
That is Tuesday. He said, in case I do not make it to my decision point or onto the Mexico border, I am sending this now. Please do not release this until 1 January and keep my identity private until then. First off, I am not under duress or hostile influence or control. My first car was a 2006 black Ford Mustang V6 for verification. What we have been seeing with drones, he puts that in quotes, he says drones, is the operational use of gravitic propulsion systems powered aircraft by most recently China and the East Coast, but throughout history, the US. Only we in China have this capability. Our OPSEN, that's Operation Center, our OPSEN location for this activity is in the box below. China has been launching them from the Atlantic from submarines for years, but this activity recently has picked up. As of now, it is just a show of force, and they are using it similar to how they used the balloon for SIGINT and ISR, which are also part of the integrated comms system. There are dozens of those balloons in the air at any given time. The so what is because of the speed and stealth of these unmanned aircraft. They are the most dangerous threat to national security that has ever existed. They basically have an unlimited payload capacity and can park it over the White House if they wanted. It's checkmate. U.S. government needs to give the history of this, how we are employing it and weaponizing it, how China is employing them and what the way forward is. China is poised to attack anywhere in the East Coast. I've been followed for over a week now from likely Homeland or FBI, and they are looking to move on me and are unlikely going to let me cross into Mexico, but won't because they know I am armed and I have a massive VBID. Let me pause right there for a second. So he says a massive VBID. When I was talking to the FBI yesterday, they didn't know what a VBID was. I had to explain what that acronym meant, literally.
You fucking serious?
Dead serious. I said it twice, and he goes, you said that word VBID. Can you tell me what that is? For your audience, a VBID, for your audience who has not been in the GWOT for the last 20 years, a VBID is a vehicle-borne improvised explosive device. In layman's terms, a car bomb, what we saw at Trump Tower. So, backing up, he says, I am armed and have a massive VBID.
So he is basically a day before doing this, sending an email about, hey, I'm going to be doing this, and that's where we are now. Okay. He just mentioned the weather balloons and the drones, right? So we're still walking through it. I'm gonna hide here so you can see the rest of this email.
I've been trying to maintain a very visible profile and have kept my phone, and they are definitely digitally tracking me. Here's where he gets into the other stuff, and this is where we had to redact the names. Well, your producer redacted the names. I have knowledge of this program and also war crimes that were covered up during airstrikes in Nimruz province, Afghanistan in 2019 by the admin, DOD, DEA, and CIA. I conducted targeting for these strikes of over 125 buildings. 65 were struck because of civcas, that's civilian casualties, that killed hundreds of civilians in a single day. U.S. FORA continued strikes after spotting civilians on initial ISR. It was supposed to take 6 minutes and scramble all aircraft in CENTCOM. The UN basically called these war crimes, but the administration made them disappear. I was part of that cover-up with U.S. FORA, an agent, redacted, of the DEA. So I don't know if my abduction attempt is related to either. I worked with, redacted, IO staff on this as well as the response to Bala Murghab. Redacted commander at the time, redacted, can validate this. You need to elevate this to the media so we avoid a world war because this is a mutually assured destruction situation. Then he says, for vetting, my LinkedIn is Matt Berg or Matthew Livelsberger, an active duty 18 Zulu out of 110, that's 1st Battalion 10th Special Forces Group. My profile is public. I have an active TSSCI with UAP, USAP access.
What is USAP? Do you know what that is?
I don't know what that is. But I checked his credentials on LinkedIn. So that was the first thing I did. I went to his LinkedIn page. First thing I noticed was all of his bona fides were in place. He has all the UAS training from USASOC and everything else. And so I said, okay, at least the guy knows what he's talking about with drones. That was a very rough dig into the guy. But my issue was I couldn't validate or verify any of this information. And I told him that. And how I responded to him was in a subsequent email. I said, this is obviously a very big deal, but I don't have anything to verify this information with. Talking about gravitic propulsion systems without evidence just makes me another UFO talking head. Like, I'm not going to go on my social media page and start talking about UFOs and anti-gravity systems and everything. I don't know what you're talking about. I can't. And he said, can I get on Fox News Contact on Signal as well as Sean's show? Hegseth would be good too. That was his last message to me.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, the thing is, what is a gravitic propulsion system?
To be honest with you, it is a fancy term you're going to find in science fiction. You won't find it in any, as far as I know, you won't find this in any kind of official manual or, scientific research. This is all science fiction. So, but what struck me is his use what strikes me now, not then, but what strikes me now is his use of a very specific term that nobody else call it. If you asked me, I would say an anti-gravity propulsion system. That's how I would describe it, because I don't know this stuff. He said gravitic propulsion system.
We looked that up last night too, and all we could find was same thing, science fiction type stuff. But there are some things that line up. One is, like I had mentioned, well, let's talk about the guy's story. Obviously, he had a VBID. Obviously, he was in the military and served. And the thing that he was talking about in 2019, we pulled a report. This is from October 9th, 2019.
Pulled up his LinkedIn here real quick, so let's look at his LinkedIn real quick. Okay. U.S. Army, 19 years. SF Communications, SF Intelligence Operations Specialist. He's got a project director certification. He was able to speak French. Checks out. I mean, I can't see his profile picture. I'm not signed in here. But, oh, that's something, man. That is something. Oh, gravitational propulsion system. What is a gravitational propulsion system? So is it gravatic propulsion system? Gravatic? What is a gravatic? I mean, like, it's talking about, like, gravatic propulsion system Earth? The future of space travel.
Gravitic propulsion systems.
Gravitic. I'm gonna have to get used to put that in my vocabulary. All right, let's go. Let's watch the rest of this video here.
UN report find alleged drug facilities were not lawful target airstrikes caused significant civilian casualties. The United Nations Special Report, which examines the impact on civilians of the United States airstrikes on alleged drug processing facilities on 5 May 2019 in Afghanistan, determines the operation caused a large number of civilian casualties. The report also examines the legal framework applicable to this incident. In June 2019, the UN Assistance Mission in Afghanistan, together with representatives of the Afghanistan Independent Human Rights Commission, conducted a site visit to areas impacted by the strikes in Farah Province, Bakwa District, as part of its extensive fact-finding into the 5 May incident. The UN verified 39 civilian casualties, among them 14 children, 1 woman, from multiple airstrikes on more than 60 sites that the United States Afghanistan identified as drug production facilities in Bakwa District and in parts of neighboring Delaram District of Nimraz Province. Moreover, the UN is working to verify credible reports of at least 37 additional civilian casualties, the majority of whom were women and children. Although airstrikes on the alleged drug processing facilities had taken place before, this was the first time that UNAMA had received reports of large number of civilian casualties resulting from such an operation. And it goes on. I'm not going to read all this. We'll link the article here. But so that 100% lines up. The other thing, that really struck me is, like I had mentioned, after our phone call, I jumped in an interview. After the interview, checked my phone, and I had several Green Berets, former Green Berets, one still active. Actually, I'm just going to say it was Tim Kennedy sent me a message late last night about 9 p.m. and said, hey, the I should have brought my phone up here, but hey, basically that that USASOC wants to give me more context on what had happened on this guy. And so first I wasn't going to take the call because I don't trust the government anymore. I don't think anybody does. But I was on the phone with my producer, who was a Naval Surface Warfare officer, and
Sorry about
my
that.
attorney, Tim Parlatore. They said we should talk to him. So I called Tim, was really pissed off, reamed his ass about it, and then later apologized. But, you know, I think you had mentioned that you had received a message from somebody that says nobody's heard of this guy. Tim sent me a picture of him shooting with this guy. And I don't know if I should release that photo or not, but Tim basically told me this. So I got the POA's number, the public affairs officer, sent it to Jeremy and Tim. He talked to them. And what they wanted us to know was that this guy was an upstanding soldier, an excellent operator, was moving on, was moving towards retirement and moving on to basically enhance the future of warfare. They wanted us to know that. Then the PA officer, sounds like almost jokingly said, which I don't know why you would joke about this, said that, oh, and between us, which why the fuck would a POA officer say between us? I mean, if they didn't want us to know that information, then they just wouldn't have told us that. But they wanted us to know, obviously, that the DNA with his supposed child
I need to do
was
better
not
with
a match.
with the browser windows.
And
I know.
so I think what they were trying to do is basically make this out to be, oh, this is why this
It's a reality
happened. He got bad news that's not his child, and so that's why he did it. But with all the other context, especially with the 2019 incident, which was obviously a cover-up, I think that has a major role in this. The other thing is, I started receiving a lot of messages from one of the redacted names, who's a DEA agent, the one that he's talking about in the email to you. We got it from multiple sources, one of which was actually a videographer for me, I think 4 years ago. He worked for me a very short period of time. I had to let him go. He joined the Army, went to OCS, became an Army officer, sent me a text, super freaked out. Apparently he was on some rafting trip with somebody that knows the DEA officer and said, hey, this guy's still operational. He wants his name redacted.
Wow.
Not the only one. Then I received a message from another very close friend of mine, who's been on the show several times, saying that he got word that this guy was still operational. And so that's why we decided to redact his name.
Remember to always cover your own ass.
Because I didn't receive any communication up to that point. Well, then I checked my LinkedIn. I said, let me see if this guy actually messaged me. Sure as shit, that DEA agent did message me, said that he wanted to talk to me before tomorrow's interview. It was really important.
Wow.
We tried to contact him, not from my phone. I'm not calling any of these people, but from somebody else's
feel you,
phone.
man.
He didn't pick up, and we weren't going to send any text thread to show any communication between us any more than the LinkedIn message. And I didn't hit him on LinkedIn. So that also 100% checks out. Now, the weird thing is anonymous as this guy wants to remain, if I remember correctly, he posted something about the Green Beret that set
did
the
he?
bomb off.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
that was his latest post. Well, Jeremy, what was it? What did the post?
It was just a report of the story.
It was just a report of the story. So very interesting how all this stuff is lining up. What do you think?
I told the guys downstairs, you know, I jokingly said this to my wife the day that I got that email, because I read the email to her. You all have heard the email now. You realize without context of who this person is, how just crazy it sounds. And I told her, I said, well, I mean, I guess if the dude ends up getting rolled up by the feds or he gets killed, we got a story, huh? Man, famous last words, right?
Yeah.
That's so I looked at, and I want to give context on one of the things. I saw this going around on social media. People were saying that his Signal chat, his safety number changed. I don't know if you saw this on X, but it was all over X. Apparently his safety number on Signal changed. He messaged me on Signal. So I went on there to look myself to see if it changed. And sure enough, it had. On January 1st, after the bombing, after he was dead, his safety number changed. That's all he sent me. He said initial contact, and I gave a thumbs up, and his safety number changed at the bottom.
Look at that.
That's after he's dead. I don't know enough about Signal to know why that would happen. Somebody has to have manipulated that, though, and messed with it. Somebody had to have been in his account after the fact and done something.
Yeah, real quick while he's going over that. So a person's safety number on Signal changes primarily when they switch to a new phone or they reinstall the Signal app. So that automatically generates a new encryption key leading to a different safety number that needs to be verified with the contacts to ensure secure communication and prevent the potential of a man-in-the-middle attack. So somebody was either trying to hack him or they had somebody had access to his account and tried to sign in from another phone. Something happened, but I'm willing to bet it was probably an entity that was probably following him, right? He said he was being watched, right? So if they tried to get into his account to get information of who he messaged, then that's why, potentially, that's why his safety number changed. So let's get back to the video.
For that to have changed.
What did the FBI say when you contacted him?
Not a lot. I gave him the story on what went down. Was very over the top, telling them, hey, I am being transparent in every way. Feel free to contact me at any time. This is my address, my name. This is why he contacted me. This is my social media page. This is any reason why this could have happened, why this got dumped on me. This is the information. They took it. They were gracious. They were nice to talk to. Mind you, I had to explain what a VBID was, which was disheartening because you're the FBI, but that's another issue altogether. But
it was probably
nothing beyond that. They said thank you, and we'll be in touch if you have any further questions.
Well, they definitely got in touch with CID.
FBI, right?
Yeah, they did.
Because that went all the way to the top of the Army. And, I'm going to dig in a little bit more on this report from 2019. However, according to international humanitarian law, including international customary law, facilities that contribute economically or financially to the war effort or of a party to a conflict are considered civilian objectives. The report jointly produced by UNAMA and the UN Human Rights Office concludes that the drug facilities associated with workers may not be lawfully made the target of attack and should be protected. The United Nations maintains that considering these objectives and individuals legitimate targets dangerously erode the fundamental principle of distinction, placing the broader civilian population and infrastructure at risk. The report sets out a number of recommendations, including that the appropriate and legal response to illicit drug activity is through law enforcement, not military operations that endanger civilians.
Well, and here's the thing. We want to know why the DOD is scrambling on this, why the FBI pushed this to them so quickly, to CID all the way up to the very top. These are very, very serious allegations.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like UN level opening an investigation type stuff into alleged war crimes. This is no joke.
It did happen.
The ripple effect is going to be massive on this.
It did happen. I think we should take a quick break. I want to scrape our email to see if this Green Beret.
All right, I'm actually going to end this video here because it just goes in. If you want to go watch the rest of the video, this is Sam Shoemate's Cybertruck video on his email, and it is very interesting. But let's go and watch another video about this dude that I think we should all watch. This guy was on the History Channel, okay? So this is his History Channel episode, and let's just watch it together. This is going to be my first time watching this one, so
Show that pits teams of elite soldiers from around the world against each other.
Matt and Tim from the U.S. Army.
That's him.
Special Forces, better known as the Green Berets.
Matthew Livelsberger and his partner Tim Kennedy, both Green Berets, appeared on the Ultimate Soldier Challenge 12 years ago on the History Channel.
While the other guys are still setting up, the Americans take their first shot at the sniper on the top of the tower.
They not only won, it wasn't even close.
You heard that? It wasn't even close, baby.
You know, for television, they always try to make it a little bit more competitive, but we swept the whole entire show.
When he appeared on the show, Livelsberger used a shortened version of his name, Matt Berg, so it took Tim Kennedy a while to put 2 and 2 together.
It took about 12 hours of me seeing some photos as more photos started coming out of you know, who he was. And then I saw a Matt Berg with a older photo of him, and I was like, oh no, dude, I know that guy. And then it just like tore my heart out because he was a really great Green Beret.
And what was he like?
He was charming. He was talented. He was personable. He was kind. He was all the things that you would expect from a Green Beret.
At one point during the show, Livelsberger had to stop taping in the 90-plus degree heat. He was suffering from heat exhaustion.
I'm about to throw up, man. I got heat exhaustion, man. I need to take this off right now.
Tim Kennedy says he hadn't heard from Livelsberger for a few years.
It just categorically does not make sense. From every...
I just want to go back to this part. Hold on. Let's go back to this part real quick. This is my favorite part.
Used a shortened version of his name, Matt Berg, so it took Tim Kennedy a while to put 2 and 2 together.
First shot at the sniper on the top of the tower. The Americans take their first shot at the sniper on the top of the tower.
They not only won, it wasn't even close.
See that right there? See that right there? Where would I point? Fuck yeah.
You know, for television, they always try to make it a little bit more competitive, but we swept the whole entire show.
When he appeared on the show, Livelsberger used a shortened version of his name, Matt Berg, so it took Tim Kennedy a while to put 2 and 2 together.
It took about 12 hours of me seeing some photos as more photos started coming out of you know, who he was. And then I saw a Matt Berg with a older photo of him, and I was like, oh no, dude, I know that guy. And then it just like tore my heart out because he was a really great Green Beret.
And what was he like?
He was charming. He was talented. He was personable. He was kind. He was all the things that you would expect from a Green Beret.
At one point during the show, Livelsberger had to stop taping in the 90-plus degree heat. He was suffering from heat exhaustion.
I'm about to throw up, man. I got heat exhaustion, man. I need to take this off right now.
Tim Kennedy says he hadn't heard from Livelsberger for a few years.
It just categorically does not make sense. From everything that I have heard, he was universally valued by his team, by his peers. I don't understand. It doesn't make sense, and it is just horrifically heartbreaking.
All right, that's the video. Guys, leave your comments below. What do you guys think? I think it's a gnarly story. The lore is crazy. I feel like I'm watching the Fallout, like some sort of Fallout 4 or some shit, some storyline from Call of Duty I've never even heard about before. But yo, God bless the Livelsbergers, and God bless Matthew Livelsberger. This is an amazing story, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this stream. Like, comment, subscribe, share this video, and thanks for watching. See ya.